everybody, this is Ashley with Ashley Says So, and I am back with another Old Hollywood Scandals video, and you guys can already see the title of the video. You guys already see the subject of the video. So I hope that you guys put your helmet on before you even click play on this doggone video. It's definitely about to be some scandalous, oh my goodness, type stuff in this video. So let's get to it. James Simpson was born on July the 9th, 1947 in San Francisco, California. His mother's name was Eunice Simpson and his father's name was Jimmy Lee Simpson. And on top of OJ, I think they had about 3 or 4 more children. And let's go on right ahead and sprinkle some messy tea right here in the beginning. Because gossip claims that Jimmy Lee used to kiss Eunice at night and tell her he would be right back. And I don't know if Eunice thought her husband was going out to the bars to talk to other women. I don't know what she thought. Jimmy Lee definitely did used to go to the clubs and the bars, but when he did, something strange would happen. Jimmy Lee used to go rush to the back, and then about 20 minutes later, a queen honey by the name of Mama Simpson used to come out styling and profiling. And baby, they say Mama Simpson used to be rubbed up on all the young white men in the club. And if you have not put 2 and 2 together, Mama Simpson was Jimmy Lee Simpson. Turns out he was a gay man who liked to perform in drag. Now, I don't know if Jimmy Lee hid this side of himself from his wife and children, but if he did, I do know that by the time OJ was 4 years old, it is very likely that Eunice Simpson had found out. And I say this because around this time, gossip claims Jimmy Lee ended up moving out and leaving the family and left Eunice to pretty much raise the children on her own. Now, if OJ didn't know this at that time, I do believe a few years later he ended up finding out, because there is a rumor out here that says that once his daddy moved on his own, OJ ended up coming to his father's house, and when he knocked on the door, his father opened the door and he was in a bathrobe. Well, soon, while the father and OJ are talking, Jimmy Lee, the father, ends up opening the door a little wider, and OJ sees a man sitting on the bed also in a bathrobe. If this rumor is true, I think this is when it kind of was confirmed for OJ that his father was a gay man. Now, to get back to OJ's childhood, his mother Eunice tried to raise her children the best she could, but things got very tough on her when OJ came down with rickets. And his rickets were so severe that he ended up in the hospital for a little while, and then after that he had to wear braces on his legs. And even a while later, when the braces came off, OJ had a severe case of bow legs. Now, his mother Eunice worried that this would have lasting effects on her son, but child, by the time OJ turned into a teenager, she probably wished his legs was bent up, bent out in every which way, because OJ was acting crazy. Said OJ started hanging around the bad boys and fancied himself a big thug. In fact, around this time, he got acquainted with a young girl by the name of Marguerite, who would later become his first wife. And Marguerite said that back in the day, in this teenage time period, OJ was a very bad person, and he was a person that nobody would want to meet. And she was right, because baby, OJ wouldn't listen to nobody. As a matter of fact, being a gangster got his tail sent to jail multiple times. And by that 3rd time, people were really ready to write his behind off. But luckily, he ended up getting a visit from baseball great Willie Mays. And this meeting right here left a mark on OJ, and he finally started to slowly but surely change his life. Seeing what Willie Mays had achieved showed OJ that there was more to life than just this doggone street corner right here. And so he started to take things more seriously, especially football, because by this time he was playing football in high school. And he probably would have gotten scouts' eyes on him as early as high school. But child, that boy grades was so bad, wasn't nobody looking at his tail. Luckily enough for OJ though, he was able to find placement at a community college. And it was here that he really extended his football skills. And so he was able to move from this community college into a big school, which was University of Southern California. And it was here that he actually made his mark. The skills that he possessed as a running back were just so great that people hadn't really ever seen anything like this before. So when it came to being a Heisman Trophy winner, it was only right that OJ got the award, which he did. And from that Heisman Trophy win, it was pretty much OJ from there. All eyes were on him. People wanted to know if he would survive as a professional football player. Yeah, he did all right in college. Let's see what he's going to do in the pro. Baby got up there and that doggone boy was running like a doggone coyote had got after him or something. Oh, baby, he shined. The boy was absolutely unstoppable. And not only in his professional life, in his personal life, he was doing just as well. He seemed to be a great family man, having married his first wife, Marguerite, at the age of only 19 in the year 1967. And they were a nice looking couple. You know, the public just ate them up. They were on every single magazine cover, especially the black magazine covers. You know, they have this thing today where they say, oh, that's couples goals. You know, I want to be this couple. Well, OJ and Marguerite, that was them. Beautiful, gorgeous, and classy Marguerite seemed to know her husband so well. And because she knew her husband so well, that meant she knew her place so well, which was in the background. OJ was the guy who wanted to be out front. You know what I'm saying? He was always the one wanting to shine, making muscles, and gee whiz, I'm just that good. So Marguerite understood this, and she had no problem standing in the background looking beautiful, quiet, mysterious. And then, they had their children. In fact, they had 3. They had a daughter named ARNELLE. They had a son named Jason. And then a little bit later, they had a baby girl named Erin. So this picturesque family was a photographer's dream. OJ, the All-American football hero, he was great. As a matter of fact, he was so great and had shown his butt so much that by this doggone time, he wasn't even OJ no more, baby. He was the Juice. So the Juice was that guy. And it really seemed like he was going to be that guy forever. But unfortunately, by the year 1977, the cracks in America's favorite son started to show. Now, the folks say, although the Simpsons looked like couple goals, the truth was OJ had been cheating most of the time in his marriage. But I don't think he was careless enough to be all out in public cheating. However, that was about to change. One day in 1977, OJ was invited to a place called the Daisy, which was a private club in Beverly Hills. While he was sitting, chatting, drinking, having a good time, a cute, slim waitress by the name of Nicole Brown caught his eye. And gossip claims that it was either sometime that day or the very next day when OJ came back to the restaurant that he had somebody make the introductions between him and Nicole. And from that first conversation, baby, OJ was hooked. I mean, the man was absolutely besotted with Nicole. Here OJ is, 29, 30 years old, married, settled down man. And here comes Nicole Brown. You know what I mean? She is young, she's 18, she is vibrant. She's able to wear little short skirts without the guilt of age running through her mind. So she's very free. And OJ is delighted with her. He recognizes that freedom in her and he loves that. So very, very soon after they make the introductions, OJ and Nicole go on their first date. And their first date is when Nicole probably should have took her little tail and ran on somewhere. Because, honey, the folks say that OJ was so ready, so eager, so willing, honey, that during the day he started like pawing at her pants like an animal or something. Gossip claims that when she came home to her roommate was like, what is going on with your pants? Why have your pants look like they've been ripped open? And Nicole says something like, he was a bit aggressive, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to say anything to him because I really like this guy. And so there were many more dates after that. And so OJ became a man that was living a double life. It got to the point where at first, during the weekdays, he was a married man at home with Marguerite and his family. And then on the weekends, he was a single man, or better yet, let me just say he was a boyfriend to Nicole. But where do you have more fun at? At home with your family with these kids running around, or out with your side person where there's no kids, where you guys are free to live a fantasy? Because that's all it is. I've always said that about cheaters. That is a fantasy. But that is where it's more fun. It went from being the weekdays with Marguerite to now just 4 days with Marguerite and the children. Oh, now let's get down to 3 days with Marguerite and the children. Lower and lower. And so Marguerite, who I'm sure already knew her husband was cheating with his new fling, is now really stepping back and looking like, oh my goodness, like my husband has never changed this doggone much. And so I'm pretty sure that she at least once confronted OJ, telling him to end this fling. You know what I'm saying? Leave that girl alone. She's got your mind going crazy. And probably was hoping and praying that he obeyed her because Marguerite was pregnant with their third child, Erin. So this is not a happy time for Marguerite at all. She's pregnant, she's getting cheated on by the love of her life, having to keep a smile on her face in front of the other kid. But unfortunately for Marguerite, she really couldn't compete with the thing that was pushing him into Nicole's arms. because it was not her, it was mostly his insecurity. And one of the main insecurities was the fact that his football career was starting to wind down. He was used to being a star, all in the limelight, and now younger and faster guys were getting ready to replace him. And word on the street is that OJ took the ending of his football career almost like a midlife crisis. His identity was wrapped up in his football career. OJ wanted to be the juice whenever he walked in the room. You know what I'm saying? And not just a bunch of older folks saying, you know, I remember when. No, he wanted to stay that young, current juice everywhere he went. Because the main thing that mattered to him was his public image. And so, like I said, OJ getting older, getting more boring. And poor Marguerite, you know, whenever he looked at her, she reminded him of this. They were close to the same age, so she was getting older right along with him. And also, Marguerite met him before he was a star. She knows all his flaws, all his faults. Well, Nicole don't know none of that. You know, she met him when he was a heroic football player, and so she kind of looks up at him with admiration. But gossip claims that spending all of this time with doggone Nicole, she was able to see more sides, if not all sides, of OJ. There's this particular rumor in 1978, OJ and Nicole were staying in a hotel room, and she said something or did something to tick him off, and baby, he square punched her right in the face. She fell to the ground, and then he started to kick her. Even after this incident, though, Nicole did not leave. And that's mostly because by this time, Nicole and OJ were a couple. They were in a real relationship. Rumor has it around 1978, like these people were out in public now. You know what I'm saying? They were going shopping together, going to parties together, the clubs. And also he basically lived with her in the apartment that he bought her. Not only that, I believe he ended up buying her a car around this time. And in 1978, 1979, Marguerite had tried to hold on to her marriage, but really there was just no use at this point in time. Like OJ was really just gone. So in March of 1979, OJ and Marguerite ended up getting a divorce. Now I'm pretty sure that Marguerite was very hurt in the inside, but this hurt right here wasn't anything compared to what happened in August 1979. Their youngest daughter, Erin, who was just a toddler, just 2 years old, wandered out and got into the swimming pool. After several minutes, she was pulled from the pool, but she ended up dying a couple of days later in the hospital. I do know that gossip claims that OJ was very upset. Rumor has it that he blamed Marguerite, and baby, some of these messy rumors out here even say that OJ tried to jump on Marguerite at the hospital. So from 1979 onwards, Nicole and OJ are a couple. It's definitely not a secret anymore. Now here's where it's finna get messy, and some of y'all about to get really mad. But the folks say that their relationship was never what people thought it was. OJ was said to be a controlling, manipulative jerk, and Nicole was said to have had a mouth on her. And also, it's alleged that she had some racist family members. Apparently, her mother was German or is German, and there were rumors on the streets that say that while Nicole was growing up, she was taught that she was a part of the master race. It's also said that OJ felt this tension from her family very early on, and so he felt like he needed to buy their love. According to this book, because I'm gonna put the doggone book up here on this one, because y'all ain't finna get me. So anyways, according to this book, a lady by the name of Miss Bethy Vaccarano, who says that she was a maid to OJ and Nicole for a period of time. Baby, she said that Nicole was not shy on calling OJ racial slurs whenever they argued. She also said that she saw Nicole throw a crystal vase at OJ and took a baseball bat and tried to bust OJ upside the head, but she missed him by like an inch. OJ's private maid, a woman by the name of Michelle, said Nicole hated her so much that Nicole always demanded for her to be fired. And Michelle ended up getting in her face. Baby said Nicole reached back and slapped the devil out of doggone Michelle. Now, maybe they were lying, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they was trying to destroy her character to make OJ look good. I don't know. But here's my thing. Let's say that is true. The gag is her alleged views didn't bother OJ. And gossip claims that the reason that OJ did not have any problems with this is because these also were OJ's views. But anyway, to get back to the main story, like I said, there's all these alleged stories about how much mouth Nicole had. You know, she argued and all this kind of stuff. Well, some of that arguing came from the fact that OJ was cheating on her. As a matter of fact, rumor has it that in the year 1983, 1984, Nicole Nicole was walking down a California street with her girlfriends, laughing and talking, and baby, she walks up on OJ, arm in arm with another woman, kissing the other woman, having a good old time. And the folks say Nicole cursed both of them out and then ended it by telling OJ, if you were gonna cheat on me, the least you could do is cheat with a pretty bee. And I honestly think after this argument, Nicole was really thinking about ending it, because rumor has it this is what caused her and OJ to get engaged. Word on the street is that OJ was so scared of losing Nicole that he ended up getting an engagement ring and proposing to her. So on February the 2nd, 1985, they get married, and gossip claims that Nicole was really in a good place. And to the outside, to the public, it did seem like everything was going okay. OJ had starred in movies like The Naked Gun. He also had some movies before that. He credited Nicole for helping him to achieve anything that he had achieved in Hollywood. But as time started to pass, family and friends started to notice changes in Nicole. Some people say she became a shell of her former self because she was too busy trying to be what OJ wanted her to be. She had to wear the clothes that OJ wanted her to wear. She had to wear her hair the way that OJ wanted her to wear it. OJ demanded that she be this glamour girl. And in the midst of her losing herself, she and OJ ended up having 2 children. Gossip claims that she loved her children, always wanted to be around her children, to take care of her children. As a matter of fact, OJ would tell her, "Oh, you need to leave the children. What about me? We need to go somewhere." And Nicole would leave the children behind and go where her husband told her to go, because she dared not say no at this time. Because baby, those beatings had become much more frequent and much more severe. Gossip claims that Nicole actually kept a journal where she wrote down the entries of the days that OJ beat her. And I will put the links to that journal in the top comment so you guys could see them for yourself. But at one point, she told a story about how she, OJ, and the children went on vacation, and their son, Justin, matter of fact, I don't think I told you their names. The girl's name was Sydney. The boy's name was Justin, okay? Well, while they are at the beach, this gay guy comes, and I guess he kind of just scoops up Justin, kisses him. I'm not sure how he kisses him, but I imagine it was on the cheek. When Nicole gets back to the hotel room, baby, OJ takes her by the arm and slams her all against the wall, slams her on the floor. He is so upset that she let this gay guy kiss their son. Then she wrote another entry about how they had went to a friend's house, and then when they got back home, said that OJ abused her so bad, hit her so many times, baby, that he beat her clothes off. And she said she actually went to the hospital after that incident and lied and said that she had a bicycle accident. She talks about a time he pulled a gun out on her, and a lot of stories out there about him abusing her end with Nicole calling the police. One of the stories even said that she was hiding in the bushes outside when the police came to the home, and she ran to the police's arms and kind of collapsed in their arms, saying that he's going to kill me, he's going to kill me. Now, allegedly, Nicole never really told her family what was going on with her. She never really let them know that OJ was beating her the way he was. But by 1990, the folks say that Nicole was getting tired of this treatment. So allegedly, she told her sister and maybe even a couple of friends that if OJ hadn't changed, or if she was not happy, by the year 1992, she was leaving. Well, 1992 comes around and OJ ain't changed one bit. And Nicole is nowhere near happy, so she files for divorce. They go through with the divorce, and now Nicole is a single woman. And for the first time in her life, she feels grown, and she's kind of tiptoeing out, and she's starting to feel in control of her own destiny, because remember, she's been with OJ since she was 18. So Nicole is out and about. She is free. She goes to clubs, she goes dancing, and allegedly she also used a couple of drugs around this time. And I did see rumors where some gossip claims that she was strung out on drugs and like a party animal. I don't know about that part. Either way it goes, she is living her best life, hunty. She even starts dating again. And allegedly, this drives OJ in freaking insane. Child, the folks say that OJ got to stalking that doggone girl wherever she went. Said he would park down the street in an alley and hide out in her bushes, checking to see who going inside and outside of her home. Then his tail was looking stupid because he was searching so much for something and his behind found it. Now, honey, the folks say that Nicole ended up getting a new boyfriend by the name of Keith. And she and Keith had been talking and dating for a while, and then one night she ended up inviting him over. She and her children hung out with Keith for a little while, then she sent the children up to bed, came back down to the living room, and started to give some throaty bodie. Now, some rumors say that OJ kicked down the door and came in right at that moment, and other rumors say that he waited till morning time and came busting into Nicole's house. Either way it goes, allegedly he had seen her doing the throaty bodie, and he ended up coming into her house and confronting her and Keith, and they were both terrified. Matter of fact, Keith was so terrified, baby, he got the hell headed. And I'm not exactly sure what happened between OJ and Nicole during this meeting. I don't know if he actually jumped on her, but I do know that they said that he was calling her all kind of hoes, you know, you tramp, telling the kids, you know, your mama a hoe and all this kind of stuff. And then on top of this thing with Keith, allegedly Nicole dated probably about 3 more men while she was single during this period. But gossip claims that every time she was dating anybody, OJ would make it hard on her. You know what I'm saying? He would make unannounced visits. He was always calling the phone, all of that good stuff. Now, that was said to have happened in 1992. In 1993, allegedly, Nicole was writing letters to OJ trying to get back with him. And rumor has it she was doing this because some of her family members were kind of coaxing her. Nicole, maybe you should give OJ another chance. You know, was it really that bad? He does really love you. So like I said, now 1993, Nicole cuts off all of those other men and she is determined to get OJ back. And they do start talking again, but even with this reconciliation, you can still see aggravation from OJ. In fact, there is a link that I'm gonna put in the top comment. Go to the timestamp that it shows you in that comment and watch how OJ acts. It's like he's upset that Nicole is not his wife anymore. He says something snarky like, you know, oh, here come my ex-wife, or is she my wife? And then finally Nicole says ex-wife, and that is while they were on a family vacation together. So like I said, it was still a lot of tension in this reconciliation. And there may have been a reason for this tension, because although she was back talking to OJ, at this moment, they were not married anymore. So Nicole kind of sort of still looked at herself as a single woman. So she still was going out dancing. You know what I'm saying? She was still hanging out with her friend. And OJ did not want that. He wanted her to start back acting like the wife she was to him. Right back under his control to do what he said. And to be honest with you, I'm not really sure why OJ was acting like this with Nicole. Because he too also had his own thing going on. By this time, he was already talking to another woman named Paula. And he had been talking to Paula for a little while, at least since 1992. It did not matter. He wanted to control and abuse Nicole no matter who the heck he was talking to. And it was right around this time where they're supposed to be doing this trial relationship where the infamous 911 call happened. And I will also put the link to this call in the top comment.
Hey guys, I'm just going to butt in real quick and tell you a little bit about this 911 call. Now, I don't think this 911 call was released to the public until after the death of Nicole Brown Simpson. But one of the alleged backstories is that on the evening of the 911 call, earlier that evening, Nicole and OJ were having dinner because they did that from time to time. So the folks say they were having dinner at her house. And while they were talking, discussing, Nicole ended up bringing up Paula. She didn't like the fact that OJ had put a picture up with Paula in a frame that used to house their wedding picture. So, you know, she's just talking, expressing her feelings. Well, allegedly, once OJ heard this, he was like, Paula, you saying something about Paula when you sitting up there got plenty of pictures with that guy Keith you were talking to, the guy Keith I caught you with. So anyways, the dinner goes kaput, and then allegedly OJ gets up to go home. After he goes home, I guess he gets on the phone ranting and raving with a friend. Don't know who this friend is, but whoever this particular person was, while on the phone with OJ, said something to the effect of, oh yeah, well, I heard that Nicole is having like orgy parties at the house. You know, she's having people coming in with drugs all in the house. You know, she's just really doing it up over there, OJ. And so, because OJ is already upset, that he goes storming back over to Nicole's house and he kicks in her her back door, some people say off the hinges, and he comes in the house and he's fussing at her. And so she runs upstairs to the bedroom, shuts the door, locks it, and calls 911. And on this 911 call, when it was released, it shocked so many people because they had never heard OJ act this way before. Here he was on this phone call just hollering at Nicole, screaming, sounding like he was knocking things over. And then Nicole on the 911 call says, OJ, please, the children are sleeping. Please calm down. And that's when OJ really blew everybody's hair back because he says, oh, you want to worry about the kids sleeping now? Well, let me tell you something. You sure enough wasn't worried about the kids sleeping when you were downstairs doing the throaty boaty. You know what I'm saying? But he actually said the words, And he continues to scream and holler as Nicole begs for 911 to send a police officer over, clearly showing that he's still on the same type of abusive time he was on while they were married.
After all of this stuff happened with that 911 call, Nicole, she was done. She tells all her family and friends, there is no reconciliation. I'm just finished. I can't do this anymore. The next 8 months were said to have seemed touchy between Nicole and OJ. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really talk. And then when they did, somebody ended up getting an attitude. It just didn't seem good between them. And then on that 8th month, which was June of 1994, or more particular, June the 12th, 1994, Nicole and OJ's daughter, Sydney, ended up having a dance recital. And Nicole asks OJ, are you coming to this? If so, I've gotten extra tickets for you. Hopefully you can be here for our daughter, Sydney. Gossip claims OJ comes late to the recital, and then when he gets there, he does not say one word to Nicole. I'm not even sure if he made any eye contact with her, if he even looked at her. In fact, after the recital was over, witnesses heard Nicole talking to family members, and she was telling them, God, he didn't even say hello to me. I don't want it to be like this between us. I want us to still be kind of friends. But I suppose she ended up shrugging all of that off because after the recital was over, she ended up telling all of her family, hey, let's go eat at a restaurant called Mezzaluna. So anyways, Nicole and her children and the rest of her family go eat at Mezzaluna, and then after they're done eating, Nicole and her children make it home. I guess it's around 8 p.m. Well, the people say that around 9:30, her mother ended up calling the restaurant Mezzaluna and saying, hey, I think I left my sunglasses there. And they confirmed, yes, ma'am, you left your sunglasses here. Then Nicole's mother calls Nicole and tells her, hey, baby, I left the sunglasses at the restaurant. Can you get them for me? And Nicole says, yes, since the restaurant is like right here close to my house, which it was, I'll get my friend, a waiter by the name of Ron Goldman, to bring the sunglasses to me. Now, there are several different versions of what happened next, and I'm going to tell you guys 2 of these versions because there's just too many of them. So the first story says around 9:40, 9:45-ish, Nicole is upstairs lying down in her bed, and all of a sudden she hears a lot of commotion and she hears 2 men arguing. She runs outside and she sees Ron Goldman having an argument with a guy that's dressed in all black. Nicole tries to stop this argument. The guy that's dressed in all black punches her in the face, so she falls. And that's when Ron Goldman tries to fight the guy dressed in all black to try to defend Nicole. And Ron Goldman knew like karate or something like that, so he definitely knew how to work his hand. Well, the guy dressed in all black has a knife. So while Ron Goldman is trying to fight him, this guy just pulls out a knife and just starts stabbing Ron Goldman. After he was done with Ron Goldman, he went back over to Nicole, lifted her up, stabbed her in her head, and then kind of like pulled her hair back, and then he cuts her across the neck. The second version of the story says, Ron Goldman came to Nicole's house and he rang the bell on her gate. When he rang the bell on her gate, Nicole came out of her house and was walking down the stairs when a masked intruder came from behind her and started stabbing her in the head. Some type of way, Ron does get inside of the gate, and when he sees Nicole being attacked, he tries to fight the intruder off of her. This is when the intruder drops Nicole, who's already been stabbed and bleeding, and then goes after Ron. After Ron is down and defeated, this is when the killer went back to Nicole, picked her up up by her hair and pulled her head back and sliced her across the neck. After either one of these stories or whatever version happened, the killer runs off into the night. And about 12:10 a.m., their bodies are found by a neighbor. Once the bodies are found, the police stop by OJ's house only to find out that OJ has just taken off on a flight to Chicago. So the police start doing their investigation on OJ. He's like the number one suspect, but they haven't told him yet. So OJ carries on as normal. You know, he ended up going to Nicole's funeral. Gossip claims that he leaned down and kissed Nicole, and some witnesses claim that they heard him say, "I'm sorry." It was on June the 17th when the police finally said that they are charging OJ with murder and they wanted him to turn himself in. And so OJ and his lawyers told the police that OJ would turn himself in on the very next day at 11 a.m. Well, we all know what happened the next day. OJ called his best friend and former teammate, Al Cowlings, and told Al, "Hey, why don't you come and drive me to the police station?" As soon as Al gets there and he and OJ get inside of that white Bronco, OJ says, "Psych." He told his friend not to turn him in. He told his friend Al to first take him to Nicole's house where she had been murdered. And then he saw that there was so many police around there. So he said, "No, don't take me there. Take me to her gravesite." And then he told Al Cowlings to just drive. He didn't care wherever, just drive. And allegedly this whole time, OJ was in the back seat of this Bronco with a gun pointed to his head, threatening to blow his brains out. And gossip claims that he kept saying, "I want Nicole. I want my Nicole back." And I am not going to describe the arrest and trial to you guys because it's just so much information, you know what I mean? You guys will have to research that on your own. But we all know that OJ was found not guilty. Now, back then as well as today, you have three groups of people. You have the people who believe OJ did it and he got away with murder. You have the people who believe that OJ was innocent and he didn't do anything. And you have that third group of people who believe that OJ didn't do it, but he knows who did. And that group of people are the ones who have been spreading the messiest tea of all, honey. Because according to that group of people, the person that committed those murders was allegedly none other than OJ's eldest son, Jason. There is this page on the internet on the Business Insider page. I will put the link of this page in the top comment also so you guys can go read that. But according to this page and other pages like it, it's alleged that OJ's son Jason had a love-hate relationship with his stepmother. Allegedly, he hated his stepmother Nicole for breaking up his parents' marriage, but he loved her because he liked her. You know what I'm saying? He actually had an attraction to her. And I'm not sure what to believe on that, but I'm not gonna lie. It had me looking at their wedding tape kind of side-eye. Like there's this portion where she hugs Jason, and I don't know if it was because I found out this information that made me feel like, ugh, maybe that hug wasn't, I don't know. But you guys can go see it for yourself and judge for yourself and tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think that hug was inappropriate, or was that just my mind doing that because of the information that I researched? But it's in the top comment. Make sure you go to the timestamp as well. But anyways, the evidence that this article gives that says that Jason could have been a suspect or should have been a suspect, one of the things, it said that he attacked a girlfriend at an earlier time with a knife and almost killed her. It's also claimed that just a couple of months earlier, he attacked a restaurant boss, his boss for the restaurant he worked at. He attacked that guy with a knife. And also it's claimed that he had a diagnosed mental illness and that sometimes he heard voices. And some of the most damning evidence that it gives is the fact that OJ hired a defense team or hired a team of lawyers for his son Jason even before he got lawyers. Like even before OJ was charged, he had already hired a defense team for his son. But here's the thing with that. Like that sounds like, ooh, wow. But then when I researched that, he also hired a team of lawyers for his eldest daughter as well. So, that right there kind of makes it, And then to me, this theory further falls apart for the reason they gave for Jason attacking Nicole and Ron Goldman on this night. Because Apparently, the reason is because Nicole had told Jason, hey, yes, we're going to come by your restaurant and eat at your restaurant tonight so I can see you. But then she changed her mind and she went to another restaurant. And apparently this was enough to make Jason very upset, like, you didn't come to my restaurant, I don't know, that just seems like far-fetched to me. But anyways, Jason is the first person that group feels like should have been a suspect, and the second person that group feels like should have been a suspect was a serial killer by the name of Glenn Rogers. And actually, according to rumor, Glenn Rogers actually confessed to killing Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. He was in that area at that time working as a house painter. Gossip claims that he may have even dated one of Nicole's friends. But when Ron Goldman's father was told about it, he didn't want to believe it. Like, he did not believe that. He believed so firmly that OJ did it, he didn't even let that right there get any traction. You know what I'm saying? Because he just felt like that was just so far-fetched. Then you got this theory that I won't even pay attention to because it just sounds like just not real. And that's this theory or the rumor that Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman were killed by the cartel. Allegedly, Nicole Brown Simpson or somebody that was very close to her, one of her friends, owed a drug debt. But I mean, surely the cartel ain't taking folks out over 30 snorts of cocaine. I don't know how they run their operations. I'm not sure. I'm not all up in their business. But I would assume that you would have to have a substantial amount of debt before they sent assassins after a person. I mean, to me, Nicole would have actually had to be a trafficker. But to move on back to the story subject, OJ, even after being acquitted, OJ's life was never the same. His public image that he cared about so much, that he tried so much to craft up, was over with. It was finished. And then what made it worse for him is that his life continued to be marred by scandal. Just like with the Nicole and Ron Goldman thing. Yes, OJ did get acquitted from the criminal trial, but when their families took him to court in a civil trial, OJ lost that case. The judge did indeed find him liable, and OJ had to pay over $33 million back to these families. And then in 2006, OJ had folks really wanting to bust him upside his head because for some reason he thought it was a good idea to write a book called If I Did It. And he basically was telling the world, hey, if I did murder Nicole and Ron, this is the way that I would have done it. And this man really went into full detail in this book describing hypothetically how he would have done these people. As a matter of fact, there is an interview where he described it hypothetically. I will put that in the comment as well so you guys can go watch it. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels like this man is confessing to murder. I ain't gonna lie. But, maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't know if OJ was trolling or if he was saying, yeah, I did it. I don't know. And OJ really, really shouldn't have tried to write a doggone book like that because honestly, that didn't do anything but put another target on his back. And some people wanted to see him jailed. A lot of the people who thought he got away, they wanted to see retribution. And OJ made it absolutely easy for them. On the night of September 13th, 2007, OJ found out that some guys at a Las Vegas hotel were selling his sports memorabilia. OJ took a doggone gun, baby, and had a couple of friends and went and broke into those people's hotel room, held them up at gunpoint, and took all of his memorabilia back. And he was basically saying that that stuff was stolen from him, that that was his private property, but I don't think he could prove that. And then you done brought a gun? Baby, them folks charged him with kidnapping, armed robbery, and possibly several other charges. He was sentenced to 33 years, but even with OJ behind bars and locked up, he still could not get away from gossip and tabloid fodder. And it wasn't long before a rumor started to circulate that OJ had a transgender girlfriend in prison by the name of Alexandria. If he did have a girlfriend, then she probably was crying because she probably thought their relationship was going to be long term. But come to find out, OJ did not have to serve the full 33 years. He only served 9 years and he got out of prison in 2017 on parole. Since then, it seems like OJ has mostly stayed out of the limelight. He hasn't done any more If I Did It interviews and all of this good stuff. And from the small interviews that I've seen, there was one where this guy asked OJ straight out, are you scared to meet God? And OJ told him, I look forward to it. I'm ready. I look forward. I'm ready to meet God. And the way he said it and the way he was looking, he really looked like a tired and broken man. Seems like a man who hasn't had a moment's peace since the murder of his ex-wife and that handsome young man. And maybe OJ deserves not to have peace. Maybe this is his karma. But karma for what? Murdering those two young, beautiful people in their prime? Or for simply being a manipulative, abusive jerk who treated a lot of people like trash during his lifetime? You decide. And when you decide, make sure you put it in the doggone comments because I got to know how y'all feel. I hope you guys enjoyed what I did do. I love you guys so much. I will be back with another video soon. Bye.